YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Swain, man. Back with another video. Welcome back to my channel where the unpopular opinion is popular. Just want to rap with y'all real quick. This video right here is for my, guys who, you may be in something serious with a woman right now, and y'all at that crossroad where you're deciding if you should take it to the next level, if you should become a little more serious. Maybe you even talking about and contemplating bringing kids into the world. So I just want to give y'all some tips, man, and the reason I'm qualified to even speak on this is because it's a mistake that I made. Now, I'm gonna break it down. I'm not really gonna call it a mistake, but the timing that I did this was all wrong, right? You have to understand, fellas, that anytime you become a husband, a father, a devoted boyfriend, if you really are in a relationship with a woman and you taking it serious, ultimately you become a lesser version of yourself. Here's why. Men, we are looked at as providers, meaning that we must bring something to the table other than just us. We can't do what women do. Women can just come to the table and be them, and in a lot of cases that will be enough, especially if they're really attractive. That is really all they have to fucking do. But as a man, it takes a lot more. You have to provide comfort. You have to provide resources. You have to provide, protection. You have to provide a certain level of masculinity. All of these things that you will have to provide in order to even be valued as a man, because in society as a man, if we don't provide anything, we're useless, right? So in order for these relationships that you may indulge in, whether it be fatherhood, being a husband, anything like that, there will be a lot of things asked of you. And in order for that relationship to actually work, you're going to have to give of yourself. And I mean, really give of yourself. And I'm going to tell you why this will be a bad thing. See, if you are a guy who has already, built your foundation, reached a certain level in life to where you can handle that and it not be attached to you, and then you just enjoy the journey of being a husband or being a father, that's a totally different story. But when you indulge yourself in these things before you are actually to that level and became that person that you want to become, that's when it's a detriment. That's when the depression sets in. That's when the hardship sets in. That's when the regrets set in. And I would have been so stuck in this state of mind if it wasn't for my pops, which is my number 2 reason why I'm validated to discuss this topic with you all, because I watched my dad my whole life be a devoted husband and father. Shout out to Pops. Pops, shout out to you if you happen to catch this video. And that taught me so much. Watching him talk, it taught me about marriage. It taught me about, being a father and how to do those things. And in order for, if you are a family man, if you really want that family to flourish, your wants and desires are going to go on the back burner. Now, that's not a problem if you have already prepared for it and built yourself up, and now you have that, you got time for that. You got the foundation for your stuff to become on the back burner. But I want you to try putting yourself on the back burner at 20 years old, at 25 years old, at 30 years old, when you're at the prime of your life and the peak of your life, and you're trying to become that higher value male. What does life look like for you then? That's what you got to think about, right? Is it going to be easy? Yeah, you can say, yeah, I love my child, I love my wife, but how much do you love them when when it's time for you to do something like, damn, maybe it's a dream or aspiration you have and you can't go hard on it because they got to eat. You got to go to work to provide for them. Your child has dreams and aspirations of her own or of his own, and they're going to get older and they're going to ask for shit. So what you going to put yourself first? Because if you do, I want you to understand that that's not being a father. That's not being a husband, bro. Because as a man, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to provide. So if you're not providing that comfort for your little girl or for your son, if you're not providing that, direction and that quality time that they so desperately need, what do you think your relationship with that child is going to look like as you get older and as that child grows? You understand what I'm saying? And that is one of the hardest things that I had to deal with in having a child at 20 years old. But fortunately, I had great parents to, you know, guide me and show me and, you know, be able to help me because I ain't gonna lie. When my daughter was first born, I wasn't doing shit but partying and turning up in the club. You know, I was there, but I wasn't really there like I probably needed to be. You understand what I'm saying? I would be out partying when I probably should be like, you know what? I probably should just come home, kick it with my daughter, but I would have my parents watch her or have my daughter's mom watch her or something like that so I could go in the club and party. Now, it's hard to choose between the two when you're 22 years old and you've never lived that life of turning up. So you had a child at 19 or 20, but you still never got to turn up. You understand what I'm saying? I know that sounds really minute, but if you are a guy right now who is in your early 20s or your late teens and you're just becoming and entering manhood, bro, there are so many things that you're going to want to experience. And not even that, the more important thing that you should be focused on, fellas, is your purpose. Being on your purpose and being in your and actually focusing on your grind and things like that is that much harder when you have a child if you actually care about being there, because that child is going to need that quality time. So, you know, we can't just make time. That's why I hate when people say you make time for what you want. If we could really make time, motherfuckers wouldn't be complaining about wasting it. Because we don't have time to make or waste. Because time is a continuous thing, right? So some time from you, maybe you're a guy who's in, you know, you play football, you play basketball, you should probably be in the gym grinding, working on, you know, your skill set or something so you can get to the next level, but you can't because you got a child. You got to go home and spend time with your child. Then you got to go to work because you got to provide for it. And don't let you have a baby mom who it don't work out, she put you on child support. You got to make money then because the pressure's on your neck, the system, you in the system. Now, if you don't make money and don't provide, then license gets suspended. You could possibly get arrested. All types of things should start to happen, which will make your life that much harder. So are you really ready to be a father? Are you really ready to be a husband? Ran into a guy I haven't seen in a while, man. About 4 or 5 years. I almost didn't even recognize him. He gained so much weight. I was like, what's up, bro? I didn't even have to say, he's like, man, I already know I'm fat as fuck, bro, but it's married life. Because, and women always say that women give more in relationships than men do, which is absolutely bullshit. Why? Because women do not have to provide shit in most cases. They just have to be attractive. Maybe be a little nurturing. They're not looked to provide shit. Men are. So as a man, when you're in these relationships and you're in these marriages prematurely, you're going to be a lesser version of yourself, and it's going to be that much harder for you to become that version of yourself because you're giving time to her. Then you're giving time to the child. Then you have to provide a household and you have to provide things in order for that relationship and that family to work and to exist. Now, this is not a bad thing. I'm not complaining about the tasks that are upon men in society. What I'm saying is that we shouldn't do this shit prematurely because that's failure. That brings on depression. That brings on, you know, broken homes and things like that. Because we're putting ourselves in situations before we're actually ready for that situation to be, you know, something that we could take care of. And that is a really hard space to be in. And here's the thing that sucks, man. You know, we can determine if we're going to be fathers to a certain extent because we can't control who we stick our dick in, right? But the last choice, the ultimate choice is up to the woman. And this is why I say that women are really not that great at making logical decisions, because a lot of the times they will still bring a child in the world, even though the situation of is not conducive for that child to flourish. Now, I'm not taking, you know, our fault away as a man, because if we know that our foundation is not laid, we have no business putting ourselves in situations to get women pregnant. But unfortunately, we do that. But when the last choice is upon the woman, that's when it's bad, because they're a lot of times are not going to make logical decisions. So they bring a child into the world knowing that they had a child with a baby with a guy who has no money, little to no money. And then 3-4 years later, she's mad because the situation is not working like how she thought it would work financially. Well, if you would have thought logically about that, for one, you probably would have used contraceptives. And for two, you wouldn't have never even let it get this far for you to have children. That's why I think this whole abortion law shit is going to create even more dysfunctional families. And there's going to be reasons why. That's going to be even more reasons why a lot of men will still fail to reach their potential, because being in that position of being a father and being a family man and things like that is very, very demanding. And like I said, I'm not taking away it being our fault for putting ourselves in that situation. But once you have done that, and then on top of that, you have a woman who has a second chance to rectify the situation, and now either now she's not going to do it because she's not logical enough, or because this abortion law that has been put in place, she can no longer do it, right? So I want you to understand that is a very, very critical time for younger guys, because this is not like 10 years ago. You just could get an abortion. In some states, you really cannot get one. And it's going to make it hard for you to, rectify the situation. Now, I'm not pro-abortion, and neither am I against abortions, right? It's just all about what makes sense for you. Now, I'm not calling my daughter a mistake, because I love her more than anything, and I'm so glad she's here, because even though it hasn't been the easiest road, I've learned so much in being a father, and she's taught me so much. And the older I get, the more I want to become a better father, the more I want to step into that role to really, really, take on that job, because, bro, that's a whole different level of manhood when you actually conceptualize the fact that I created a life and now I'm responsible for that life, because that life, how it turns out, is part of my legacy, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So now that's a whole different side of masculinity that it makes me really happy when I think about it. But I know it ain't going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it to embrace. But don't put yourself in that situation if you do not have to. I'm not saying that being a father is bad. What I'm saying is that you don't want to be a father prematurely, and you don't want to be a husband prematurely, if you want to even do that at all. And that's something that I would really, really greatly think about, because, fellas, are you really ready to put yourself on the back burner? Because your grind phase can't afford it. But that's it for the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm finna hit this gym. We got legs today. Until next time, peace.